everyone, it's Paige, and today I'm here with my review of Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Dellaira. This came out back in April of 2014, but I finally picked it up this year on a recommendation from my best friend and old roommate from college, Alicia. Thank you very much, Alicia. I really loved this. So before I had started reading this, I was kind of looking at reviews on Goodreads and trying to get a feel of what other people thought of this book, and I saw a lot of 3 or lower star ratings, which after reading this, I can kind of see why people don't like it. It's kind of one of those books, I think, where you either love it or you're just kind of mediocre about it, and I personally fell on the spectrum of loving it. The general gist of the story is that there is a girl named Laurel, and she is writing letters to dead people and just kind of getting her thoughts down on the page. It started out as an English assignment, but then she just kind of took off with it. And this isn't a spoiler, but her sister is also dead, and so she's kind of grappling with that, and you kind of discover some other things as the book goes along. And it's very sad and very heart-wrenching, but there's a really good message in here, I think, of like strength and being able to overcome things and dealing with things in your own time. So that's what I took away from this, and I thought that was really beautiful. So I think why I liked this so much in part was because Laurel writes a lot of letters to dead musicians, and as people know, I really love music. Music is really important to me, so I really connected with that idea. So she's writing to a whole bunch of dead musicians like Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, and then she writes to other figures as well like Amelia Earhart, Judy Garland, River Phoenix. So there's just like a whole bunch of different people that she's writing to. And with each specific person, you kind of get a sense of like what she's going to be talking about, so like specific aspects of her life. Like when she's talking about how she feels as far as like who she's presenting herself as in her new school, she kind of talks more about like Judy Garland, because Judy was more of a, you know, like an actress, whereas like with Kurt Cobain, she kind of talks about like the darker parts of her past and like who she wants to be in the future. And I think that theme is really amazing to have put in here, where it's not just like random people that she was writing to. It's like very specific for each situation in her life, and I really liked that. I did give this one 5 out of 5 stars. It really, towards the end of the book, the last 50 pages just had me crying like crazy. It was really emotional and kind of upsetting. I will say that there's a trigger warning for this. So the trigger warnings are that there is mentions of assault and sexual abuse in this, and I'm not gonna say like which characters or whatever, but that is something that comes up in this. This book reminded me a lot of The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, but I actually liked this one much better. I think maybe because I was more of a critical reader now when I read this, whereas when I read Perks of Being a Wallflower, I just read it because a lot of people in school were reading it, and I didn't like fully grasp the story. So it would be an interesting book, I think, to reread, especially after this. But this one's also blurbed by Stephen Chbosky, so they kind of both have that same feel. And Perks of Being a Wallflower is another book where I feel like people either love it or they hate it. So if you loved Perks of Being a Wallflower, definitely check this one out too. I'm very excited to see what else Ava Dellaira is going to be writing. I know she has another book coming out in 2018, I believe, or at the very end of this year. So I'm excited to pick that up because I really like her writing style. It's very raw, I think, and I really like that. Yeah, I'm excited to see what else she is going to put out. Anyways, that is my review of Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Dellaira. Definitely pick this book up. It's definitely kind of like a wintry read. I think mostly just because it's really sad, but keep in mind that it is kind of heavy, and there's some trigger warnings that I mentioned earlier that you should be aware of. But yes, this is a great, fantastic, beautiful book that I think a lot of people should read and take the time to kind of analyze and look between the lines of what's going on. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can find me in the links below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye! What's her name? I almost said Ava. Oh my god, what's her name?